South Dakota, and your 29-time and defending state champion, Post2.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Post2 baseball stream. We are live here from Jack Williams Stadium by the lovely Red River in North Fargo. Today's game is a semifinal matchup of the 2024 Jim Peterson FM Invitational. The weather is 69 degrees sunny, south-southeast wind, 3 miles an hour with 41% relative humidity. The earlier semifinal game was between Post 400 and West Fargo. Post 400 won that game 5-3 to advance to the championship game today at 3 o'clock. This is the second semifinal game between Post 2, Fargo Post 2, and the Brookings Bandits.
Batting cleanup. Playing first base, wearing number 6, Addison Ronnie. Second baseman, wearing number 2, Nolan Miles.
The announcer is currently introducing the lineups for the Brookings team. I'll give you the batting order here. Batting first for Brookings is the left fielder, number 1, Tate Henbolt. Batting second is the center fielder, number 12, Breck Hershoff. Batting third is the shortstop, number 9, Owen Schneider. And batting next is the first baseman, Addison Ronning, followed by the second baseman, Nolan Miles, who is followed by the third baseman, David Brink. Batting seventh is the designated hitter, Jack Merritt. Batting eighth is the right fielder, Austin Clacks. And batting ninth is the center fielder, Sam Johnson.
Number 23, Garson Sheep. Number 24, Grayson Doctor. Number 26, Caden Nelson. And number 28, Beckett Stimson. And your starting lineup for Post 2, leading off, playing shortstop, wearing number 8, Connor Home.
Out in the field for Post 2 is the pitcher, number 16, Jonah DeYoung. The catcher, number 6, Sam Oshak. As Brookings left fielder Tate Humboldt steps into the batter's box. At first base is number 15, Charlie Kalbrenner. Humboldt hits the second baseman, Jackson Beiswinger, for the first out of the inning. Third baseman, sorry, that's Landon Meyer at second base. Third baseman is Jackson Beiswinger. Left fielder is Wyatt Kosadowski. Center field, Jordan Leininger. And right fielder, Adam Leininger. The center fielder, Breck Hershoff, steps into the box. He takes that first pitch as ball 1. Popped foul for the first strike of the at-bat.
Didn't hear any glass break back there, so that's good.
Maybe my truck's safe.
I parked over there too, so it's like, uh-oh.
That ball is fouled into the dirt for strike 2. 1-2 on Hershoff. 1 out here in the top of the first. And that pitch is high and outside. Ball 2. 2-2. hit sharply to the third baseman, Jackson Beiswinger, for the easy out. That's the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 9, Owen Schneider.
Number 9, Owen Schneider.
Pitch outside. Gets past the Oshak, but there's no harm because there's no runners on base. So Schneider's looking at a 1-0 count so far early in his at-bat. Second pitch is high for ball 2.
Got the inside of the plate on that one.
Yeah, Schneider didn't swing at that one, so that becomes strike 1. I'm not sure I would have swung on it either, so I don't blame him. That pitch, though, looked like a good pitch to swing at. Schneider doesn't agree, so he takes strike 2 looking. So the count is 2-2 with 2 out in the top of the first. That pitch is delivered. Meyer backpedals just a little bit. Catches the pop-up at second base for the third out of the inning. No runs on no hits and no errors for Brookings in the top of the first. Nobody left on base. So the batting order for Post 2. Leading off will be the shortstop, number 8, Connor Holm, followed by the second baseman, Landon Meyer, number 2. Batting third is the right fielder, number 7, Adam Leininger. Batting cleanup in the fourth spot is the first baseman, number 15, Charlie Kalbrenner. Batting fifth is the center fielder, number 14, Jordan Leininger. Batting sixth, left fielder, number 1, Wyatt Kosadowski. Batting seventh is the third baseman, number 13, Jackson Beiswinger. Batting eighth is the designated hitter, number 12, Levi Sweet. And batting ninth is the catcher, number 6, Sam Oshak. In the field for Brookings, we have Zach Struck on the mound to pitch for Brookings. First baseman is Addison Ronning. Second baseman is Nolan Miles. Third baseman is David Brink. In left field, or shortstop, is Owen Schneider. In left field, we have Tate Hembolt. Center field is Breck Hershoff. And right field is Austin Clacks. Leading off for Post 2 on the bottom of the first is the shortstop, number 8, Connor Holm. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off to the third base side. Almost makes it into the bullpen. On that second pitch, it's a swing and a miss for strike 2. The count is 0-2. And that pitch is high for ball 1. 1-2 for Holm here, leading off in the bottom of the first. And that pitch is put in play. Shortstop retreats into the grass and catches it for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the second baseman, number 2, Landon Meyer. The first pitch Landon sees goes into the other batter's box outside for ball 1. And that second pitch is strike 1 looking. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. That pitch is high and inside for ball 2. Meyer puts that one in play. And the right fielder has to dive for it, but it bounces off of his glove. So Meyer with the single. And that's going to bring up number 7, Adam Leininger, the right fielder. Meyer with the single to start his night at the plate. Standing there at first base. Struck checks the runner. And that pitch bounces off the batter, so he will walk to first. Meyer will walk to second. And that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, the first baseman, number 15, Charlie Kalbrenner. First pitch is inside and low for ball 1. Hit down the right field line, but that one will be foul. So runners will have to go back to their bases. That foul ball evens the count at 1-1. 1 out in the bottom of the first. Runners on first and second base. High and outside for ball 2. 2-1. Meyer expands his lead at second. Catcher tries to frame that pitch, but the ump still says it's a ball. The count is now 3-1 to Kalbrenner. And that earns Kalbrenner a walk. The bases are loaded. And stepping to the plate will be the center fielder, number 14, Jordan Leininger. And that pitch was framed nicely for strike 1 looking. Base is loaded here in the bottom of the first. Leininger fouls that off into the stadium seats. Pitch was outside for ball 1. Jordan sitting on a 1-2 count here. 1 out in the bottom of the first. Struck delivers the pitch. Leininger pops it up. Ump calls the infield fly rule because that one goes right to the shortstop. At least 2 runners on with less than 2 outs. A routine pop up to the infield results in an infield fly. So that is the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 1, Wyatt Kosadowski. Struck puts that one outside in the other batter's box for ball 1. Kosadowski puts that one in play. Shortstop comes over and catches it right where the infield dirt meets the grass for the third and final out of the inning. So on 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 3 men left on base. Due up for Brookings in the top of the second inning are the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Ronning, Miles, and Brink. So starting things off here for Brookings in the top of the second inning is the first baseman, number 6, Addison Ronning. Ronning takes that first pitch, puts it in play. He hits it right to center field. Jordan Leininger has to dive for it, but he does make the grab for the first out of the game. I guess I have a different view because Ronning is staying at first base. Must have hopped off the grass. So Ronning with the leadoff hit. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Nolan Miles. The pitcher, DeYoung, checks the play that was called in from the coach. Checks Ronning at first. Ronning doesn't have a very big lead. Miles shows bunt but pulls it back for ball 1. Miles and Ronning get the signal from the third base coach on what he wants them to do. DeYoung delivers the pitch. That one's high and inside for ball 2. The count is 2-0 with nobody out here in the top of the second inning. And that pitch was high as well for ball 3. 3-0. That pitch is ball 4. Does get past the catcher, so he has to make sure to get it before Ronning rounds second on his way to third, but Ronning does stay at second base. So a leadoff single followed by a walk gives us runners on first and second here with nobody out. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 8, David Brink. The corners, first base and third base, are playing in. Brink shows bunt. The first baseman comes forward, and Landon Meyer goes over and covers second on the throw from Oshak. The ump did call a strike on that play, so the count is 0-1. Let's see if he shows bunt again. Yep, he does, and Kalbrenner charges. Meyer goes over and covers second base. And that is strike 2. The throw from Oshak to first base. Meyer tags him out. He got him. First out of the inning. Brink still sitting on an 0-2 count here with 1 out now in the top of the second inning. Ronning remains at second base.
Catcher setting up outside. Trying to catch you outside of the plate down this one.
DeYoung checks the runner a couple times. From up here in the press box, that looked like a strike, but the ump disagrees. That goes for ball 1. The count is now 1-2. That ball hit foul. Keeps his at-bat alive. And swing and a miss. Sets him down for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up the designated hitter, number 7, Jack Merritt. You know, it's interesting on those butt attempt. Kalbrenner at first charges and Meyer goes over and covers the bag just as he's told to do. But that leaves a big hole at second base. If the guy does manage to do something with it.
Yeah, if he pulls back and swings, that's a big gap right there.
but I'm not second guessing Coach Luke Rustad, as he just recently managed to win his 500th game as coach of Fargo Post 2. Throw down to second, but the runner goes to third. And Meyer throws it to Beiswinger at third base and gets rounding out, advancing to third. The Brookings coach does not like the call. And the field umpire is having a little conversation with him, but the Brookings coach wisely retreats back to the dugout as he says a few words on his way back. In the game earlier today, the West Fargo coach argued with that same umpire and found himself removed from the game. But this ended without an ejection. So, out on the base paths, ends the half inning for Brookings. They got no runs on one hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Leading off for Post 2 in the bottom of the second are the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Beiswinger, Sveit, and Oshak. Leading things off for Post 2 in the bottom of the second is the third baseman, number 13, Jackson Beiswinger. And he watches that first ball come in way too close to his body, so he takes ball 1. That second pitch goes unchallenged for strike 1 looking. The count is now 1-1. Hit squarely to the second baseman. That'll be a routine play for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 12, Levi Sveit. I have first pitches right down the middle for strike 1 looking. And that pitch is outside for ball 1. The count is 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Almost grazed the batter's belly button. Ball 2. 2-1. And again on the inside. A little closer to the plate, but not enough. That'll give Sveit the hitter's count, 3-1. That pitch was going to be right down the strike zone. So Sveit singles between the first baseman and the second baseman. I guess he liked that pitch. And that's going to bring to the plate the catcher, number 6, Sam Oshak.
So we've got 3 lefties coming up right in a row.
First pitch is inside for ball 1. Sveit, the runner at first, takes the lead. Struck, checks over his shoulder, make sure he's not going too far. Delivers the pitch, ball 2 inside. The count is now 2-0. outside for ball 3. 3-0. 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Runner on first. And the pitcher delivers the money ball for make sure that's a strike. The count is now 3-1. Threw it when he had to have it. That ball bounces off the catcher's shin pad. It is a walk. So Sweet will advance to second. Catcher runs after it to make sure Sweet doesn't go to third. Oshak with the walk there. He's at first. That's going to bring us back to the top of the order. Number 8, Connor Holm, the shortstop for Fargo Post 2. Only 1 out in the top or bottom of the second. Oshak swings on the first pitch and hits it to the center fielder. He comes in and the runners don't get to advance anywhere. So that is the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Landon Meyer. 2 outs in the bottom of the second. 2s all around.
Now batting, number 2, Landon Meyer.
Meyer swings on the first pitch he sees, and that's going to be hitting the gap between the second baseman and the center fielder. Sweet is on his way home. The throw is there, and he is out trying to score. So that would be a single for Landon Meyer, but the out on the base paths ends the inning. So no runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left on base. The score after 2 complete remains 0-0. Brookings will have the 7, 8, and 9 batters, Merritt, Clark, and Johnson. Leading things off for Brookings in the top of the third is the designated hitter, number 7, Jack Merritt.
Now hitting number 7, Jack Merritt.
DeYoung delivers the pitch for ball 1. And the second pitch is low and outside for ball 2. That pitch is put in play. It's going right to Jordan Leininger at center field. You could clearly hear him call ball, and he makes the sure out.
Now coming to the plate, number 3, Austin Clapp.
That'll bring up the right fielder, number 3, Austin Clacks.
I think that's what some of the younger players are starting to get is if you're in there, you better be hollering if you've got that play.
For sure. Clacks takes that first pitch as a strike one looking.
So that everybody can hear you.
Yeah, if I can hear you up here in the press box from center field, you're doing a good job at that. Clark hits a chopper. Oshak steps up, snags the ball that only went about 6 feet, and throws him out, advancing to first. Kalbrenner makes sure to catch that one for the second out of the inning.
I apologize about your name, Austin. It's Clark.
So on 5 pitches,
Number 10.
DeYoung has gotten 2 batters out. And that's going to bring up the catcher, number 10, Sam Johnson. He watches the first pitch come as a ball. So the count is 1-0 with 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. And that pitch was brought back into the frame by Oshak, the catcher. That's going to be a called strike 1. The hitter's going to go over and have a talk with his third base coach. They apparently want to have a few words about how this pitcher's pitching. Either that or exchange recipes for brownies.
Or what they had for supper last night.
Maybe it was brownies. The 1-1 count is ball 2.
We'll fall back to the right here.
Clark fouls that off to even the count at 2-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. That ball is popped up to the second baseman, Landon Meyer. Drifts back just a little bit, but no problems handling that for the 3rd and final up. So it's 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. Due up for post 2 in the bottom of the 3rd are the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Leininger, Kalbrenner, and Leininger. So Adam Leininger will lead things off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Scoreless game so far.
Leading off the bottom of the 3rd. Number 7, Adam Leininger.
Struck delivers the pitch into the dirt for ball 1.
Like to give a little shout out to Adam and Jordan's grandma, her friend Cindy, out in Valley City watching the game this afternoon.
Welcome to the stream and hope things work out for you. 2 straight balls brings the count to 3-0. So I guess that's 3 straight balls.
Yep, they're big baseball fans.
And that's ball 4, earns Adam a walk to start things off for post 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. That's going to bring up the first baseman, number 15, Charlie Kalbrenner.
First baseman, number 15, Charlie Calvin.
That first pitch is fouled off into the netting. Struck is now up to 40 pitches in his outing here in the 3rd inning. He glances over his shoulder to make sure Leininger at first isn't going anywhere. Decides to throw it over there, but Adam slides. Gets a bunch of dirt on his uniform. Adam is safe at first.
I don't have to wash that one, so I'm all right with that one.
Struck delivers the pitch, bounces off the catcher's shin guards into foul territory a little bit, but he pops up quickly and keeps Adam from advancing. The count is 1-1 to Kalbrenner. Kalbrenner swings and fouls that one off over the press box. The count is now 1-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. No score. Leininger remains at first. That pitch is called for strike 3, so Kalbrenner will have to go back to the dugout. That is the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Jordan Leininger. With the bunt attempt, it goes foul for strike 1. So 0-1 count with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. Struck throws it over to first base. Adam Leininger dives under the tag. Still safe. Swing and just barely tipped it foul. That ball got past the catcher, and Adam Leininger would have liked to advance, but it becomes a dead ball. So the count is now 0-2 with 1 out. Struck delivers that pitch way into the other batter's box for the first ball of the at-bat. The count is 1-2. That pitch was right down the middle, apparently, for the 3rd strike of the at-bat. Leininger will take a seat. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 1, Wyatt Kosadowski. So after the leadoff walk, 2 straight strikeouts by Struck. Kosadowski takes ball 1. Struck must be confusing the hitters because both strikeouts were looking as well. Struck throws it over to first base. Leininger dives under the tag. Ronning at first returns the ball to his pitcher. Kosadowski on an 0-1 count here. And he fouls that off into the netting. 0 balls and 2 strikes. One and one with 2 out in the bottom of the third. That pitch is hit right over the second baseman's outstretched glove. Adam Leininger will advance to second base. And with that single, Kosadowski is safe at first.
That single brings up number 13, Jackson Beiswinger.
That's going to bring up the third baseman, number 13, Jackson Beiswinger. 2 outs and 2 runners on here in the bottom of the third inning. Kosadowski standing at first and Adam Leininger standing at second. Kosadowski swings, misses for strike 1.
Beiswinger.
Oh, sorry, Beiswinger. Kosadowski's at first. Now we're going to play who's on first.
What's on second?
That one's high for ball 1 for Beiswinger, so the count is 1-1. He fouls that one back for strike 2. That one is poked into foul territory. Ronning goes after it, but can't quite catch up to it. So Beiswinger keeps his at-bat alive with that foul ball. The count is 1-2. Adam Leininger will go back to second base, and Wyatt Kosadowski returns to first. Ronning was over there checking the grass like he tripped on something on his way to go get that foul ball. Or looking at his cleat, I don't know. Struck checks the runner at second, delivers the pitch. Beiswinger gets a big bat on that. Left fielder has a little bit of trouble finding it, but finally does make sure that the ball ends up in his glove for the third and final out of the inning. So Fargo Post 2 gets no runs on 1 hit, no errors. They left 2 on base. They have left 2 on base for each, 2 or 3 for each of the first 3 innings, but the score still remains scoreless at 0-0. Brookings will return to the top of the order for the 1-2-3 hitters to start off the 4th inning with Hembolt, Hershoff, and Schneider. Leading off for Brookings in the top of the 4th is the left fielder, number 1, Tate Hembolt.
Back to the leadoff for Brookings, number 1, Tate Hembolt.
Jonah DeYoung delivers that first pitch right down the middle for strike one, looking. And that ball's on the outside of the plate for ball one. 1-1. Top of the fourth inning. And Hembolt takes that, looking for strike two. Has yet to swing the bat. And he puts the wood on it that time, but that one goes foul. Byswinger almost got the glove on it, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, being a foul ball. Hembolt steps back into the box, takes the pitch, high and inside for ball two. The count is 2-2. And that pitch is low. Will bring us to a full count, 3-2. And Hembolt draws the walk. After the leadoff walk, it'll bring us to the number 2 hitter, the center fielder, number 12, Breck Hershoff. DeYoung at 40 pitches in the ball game. And he delivers that one right down the middle for strike one, swinging. Byswinger at third is playing up. DeYoung throws it down to Kalbrenner at first. But that was delivered a little bit high, so Kalbrenner doesn't even try to apply the tag. So DeYoung tries it again. Hembolt retreats back to first base. And this pitch is hit, but it lands just a few feet foul. If that would have stayed fair, that would have probably been for extra bases. But as it is, the count remains 0-2 on Hershoff. And that was just a bit high for ball one. The count is 1-2 with nobody out in the top of the fourth. Hembolt's the runner at first. And Hershoff can't believe it. The ump rung him up for strike three, looking for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 9, Owen Schneider. So one down in the top of the fourth. No score still. Hembolt remains the runner at first. DeYoung delivers the pitch, and that one's low for ball one. That pitch is fouled back over the press box for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the fourth inning. That ball has popped up to the second baseman, Landon Meyer. He easily catches that for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the first baseman, number 6, Addison Ronning, with 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Tate Hembolt remains at first base for Brookings. That pitch is high and must have grazed something. So that's going to send Ronning to first base. Hembolt's going to advance to second. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Nolan Miles. So the runner on second walked. The runner on first was hit by pitch. And that pitch was low for ball 1. DeYoung delivers that pitch high for ball 2. Count is 2-0 with 2 out here. And the coach just wants to have a little conversation with his infield. DeYoung now at 50 pitches on his outing.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Post2 just kind of stagnant out there.
Yeah,
not a whole lot of talking, not a whole lot of movement. Somebody got to liven them up a little bit here. Get a dance party going.
Well, maybe when they get to bat, somebody can put one over the fence and breathe some life into the club.
Or even get it out of the infield.
We saw that in the earlier game where West Fargo hit a home run when they looked like they were lifeless, and they kind of got things going for a little bit, but still fell short. As Post 400 advanced to the championship game today here at Jack Williams Stadium at 3 o'clock. All right, after the conversation, Nolan Miles resumes his at-bat. He's got a count of 2-0 that he's working on. Runners on first and second. DeYoung checks Hembolt at second. Delivers the pitch. And Miles swings and misses for strike 1. DeYoung throws it to second base to see if Hembolt was napping, but he quickly retreats and steps on the bag. And that pitch was delivered low. So the count for Nolan Miles is 3 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here, top of the 4th inning. Miles pokes at that one. That one's going to the right field line and lands in foul territory. So the runners will return to their bases. And the count is now full, 3-2 for Miles with 2 outs.
See who's going to win this battle. Pitcher or the batter?
And that question will go unanswered for at least one more pitch as Miles fouls that off into the fans.
Keeps himself going.
That pitch was outside for ball 4. That'll walk the bases loaded. It'll bring up the third baseman, number 8, David Brink. So in the top of the 4th inning, Brookings is threatening here with 2 outs. DeYoung delivers that pitch outside for ball 1. But that pitch goes unchallenged for strike one. The count is 1-1 with 2 out in the top of the fourth. Bases loaded for Brookings. Brink swings and misses on that pitch. Pitcher's count of 1-2. Two walks and a hit by pitch loaded the bases. And that's strike 3 looking to end the inning. No runs, and no hits, no errors. 3 men left on base. So Brookings finally gets a little bit of action on base, but it's not enough. And after 4.5, the score remains scoreless. Due up for post 2 in the bottom of the fourth. Sveit, Oshak, and Holm. Leading off for Fargo Post 2 on the bottom of the fourth is the designated hitter, number 12, Levi Sveit.
Now batting Post 2.
Sveit puts that into play. It's a pop-up right to the center fielder, who comes in and makes the easy out for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 6, Sam Oshak.
Now hitting for Post 2 number 6, Sam Oshak.
Struck delivers the first pitch for ball 1. And Oshak takes that next pitch, strike 1 looking. The count is 1-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Oshak puts that in play as a chopper just goes foul before it gets to first base. So that gives us a count of 1-2. Oshak puts that in play, hit right to the second baseman, who scoops it up and throws Oshak out at first for the second inning of the game, or second out of the game, of the inning.
Back to the top, number 8, Connor Holm.
And that's going to bring Fargo Post 2 back to the top of the order. The shortstop, number 8, Connor Holm. Holm watches that first pitch cross the plate. Strike 1 looking. And the second pitch is high for ball 1. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And that pitch is low for ball 2. 2-1. That ball is low for ball 3. 3-1 for home. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. And this pitch is outside, so home gets to walk 90 feet. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Landon Meyer.
Now hitting for post 2, Landon Meyer.
Meyer watches that first pitch come in low for ball 1. Holm is the runner. Connor Holm is the runner at first. Struck tries to get Holm out at first base, but Holm dives under the tag. Meyer hits that one down the third base line, but it does manage to go foul. Count is 1-1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. 1 runner on. Meyer steps out of the batter's box as he calls time. So Struck will reset on the mound. Holm got caught. Little pickle rundown between first and second. And Holm is thrown out for the 3rd and final out of the inning. Holm got caught leaning too far to the second base side, and Struck recognized it and threw it to first. And nothing much Holm could do at that point. So that ends the inning for Fargo Post 2. No runs on no hits and no errors. The score after 4 complete is still 0-0. Scoreless game still here at Jack Williams Stadium in this semifinal. Leading off for Brookings in the top of the 5th is the designated hitter, number 7, Jack Merritt. He takes that first pitch looking for strike 1. And that pitch is for ball 1. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Like I said, scoreless game. The winner of this will advance to the championship of the 2024 Jim Peterson FM Invitational Tournament. Little chin music gives Merritt something to think about as he steps back into the batter's box with the 2-1 count. Merritt puts that in play to the third baseman, Beiswinger, who throws it over to Kalbrenner at first for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, number 3, Austin Clark. Clark doesn't like that first pitch. And he was correct. That's ball 1. Clark puts that one in play. That one stays fair. Goes into the corner. And Clark easily stands up with the double. Flexes for the fans back home at Brookings. After that double, it's going to be the catcher, number 10, Sam Johnson. DeYoung throws the pickoff move to see if Clark was napping at second, but he alertly goes back to the base. DeYoung delivers the pitch. It's a bunt attempt. He misses on the bunt, so it counts as a strike. Oh, 1 count here for Johnson with 1 out in the top of the 5th. And that pitch evens the count at 1-1. Poked into right field. Leininger comes in and catches it for the second out of the inning. Clark stays at second base. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 1, Tate Hembolt, back to the top of the order for Brookings. Oshak throws to second base. That pitch was delivered low for a ball. Oshak tried to throw the runner out, but it was just a little high for Meyer to handle at second base. That ball's hit right up in the gap. Clark's going to round third and come home. So RBI single for Hembolt here in the top of the 5th inning. Puts the first run of the ball game on the board. And that'll bring up the center fielder, number 12, Breck Hershoff. DeYoung delivers the pitch. Right in there for strike 1. And that pitch was too far inside, as Hershoff has to move a little bit to get out of the way. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. That ball's hit right to the shortstop home, who gets the lead runner out at second base. But not until after damage is done. Brookings gets the first run on the board. 1 run on 2 hits. Middle of 5, Brookings leads 1-0 over Post 2. Due up for post 2 in the bottom of the 5th are the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Meyer, Leininger, and Kalbrenner. So after Brookings takes the lead, post 2 wants to get back into this game. And the second baseman, Landon Meyer, will try to get things started in the bottom of the 5th inning. He takes that first pitch for strike 1 looking. And that pitch was outside. No way the ump was going to buy that frame job by the catcher. Evens the count at 1-1. High for ball 2. 2-1 for Meyer. And Meyer pokes that into the gap for his 3rd straight hit of this game. Meyer now 3 for 3 on the day. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, number 7, Adam Leininger.
Just heard Adam's biggest fan shouting some encouragement for him. His little niece.
Struck throws the pickoff attempt. Gets past the first baseman, so Meyer will alertly advance to second base. Somebody on Brookings yelled, "Got him," and it wasn't even anywhere close to being true. You got to have the ball.
Must still be wet over in there.
Yeah, with all that rain we had, that right field foul area has been a little wet. I do see the area in front of the third base dugouts now dry. That pitch is delivered for ball 1. Meyer at second base with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. Time was called, as the coach wants to come out and have a little conversation with his infield. Conversation's over. Meyer's going to return back to second base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Adam Leininger's at the plate with a 1-0 count. Struck still pitching for Brookings. He delivers that, and that was a nice good pitch down the middle, so Leininger swings but falls it into the catcher's gear. That's going to even the count at 1 apiece. Bunt laid down the third base line. The pitcher goes to get it, but speedy Adam Leininger runs it out. The pitcher doesn't even attempt the throw. Meyer advances to third base. So not only does Leininger lay down the bunt to advance the runner, but he also stays safe to keep us at 0 outs. And that's going to bring up the number 4 hitter, the first baseman, Charlie Kalbrenner.
Yeah, Adam was telling me that if he sees that third baseman sitting back, that he's got to go ahead to bunt if he thinks he can do it.
Runners on the corners. Kalbrenner swings on that one, pokes it foul. So the count is 0-1 with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Struck delivers that pitch high to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Struck is now at 70 pitches on his outing.
Struck delivers the Chuck.
Struck to Chuck.
Oh,
High for ball 2. 2-1, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th. That pitch was right in there for the 2nd strike. Evens the count. 2-2. Throws the pick off to first. Meyer thinks about advancing home, but wisely retreats. Kalbrenner hits that into foul territory. Ronning comes over and gets the first out of the inning. The runners will stay at first and third.
Now hitting 14, Jordan Leininger.
And that's going to bring up the center fielder, number 14, Jordan Leininger.
oop. There's Jordan's biggest fan giving him a little encouragement.
With runners on the corners, the catcher sends in a play to the infield on how they want to handle the potential steal attempt. Struck checks Leininger over there at first. Meyer gets a healthy lead at third as that first pitch comes in for ball 1. Bunt right to the pitcher. Pitcher checks third, Meyer at third. Meyer's going to advance home, and he's going to score. Adam Leininger's going to get all the way to third base. So Jordan Leininger lays down the bunt. He gets out, but it does his job because Meyer comes home, scores the first run to tie the ball game at 1 apiece. Adam Leininger now sitting at third base. There are 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 1, Wyatt Kasadowski. Two outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Kasadowski takes that, strike 1 looking. Oh, Kasadowski thought he got a little chin music. Should have been a ball, but the ump disagreed and called that one strike 2. The count is now 0-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And that ball is outside into the other batter's box for ball 1. Johnson makes the slide over to stop that ball from getting past him. Otherwise, Leininger would have surely scored. That pitch is outside too as well. Gives us ball 2. Evens the count at 2-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Swing and a miss ends the inning. But not before Post 2 evens up the ball game. So after 5 complete, the score is 1-1. Both teams got on the board in the 5th inning. Due up for Brookings in the top of the 6th are the 3-4-5 hitters Schneider, Ronning, and Miles. So Beckett Stimson steps to the mound for Fargo Post 2. He'll relieve Jonah DeYoung. DeYoung pitched 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Stimson with the little movement on that ball confuses Nolan Miles, the hitter. Gets strike 1. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Miles, the second baseman, is leading things off here for Brookings in the top of the 6th inning. He fouls that one off into the netting. And apparently we're looking for baseballs so we can resume play. The ump gets loaded up. Oh, sorry, this is Owen Schneider batting. He's got a 1-2 count. He hits it right to the shortstop. That ball goes right under his glove for the first error of the game. So Schneider reaches on error. And that's going to bring up the first baseman, number 6, Addison Ronning. Bunt shown, but he pulls it back. He earns a ball for being aware. Count is 1-0. Schneider at first takes his lead. Pickoff attempt. Schneider is safe, but that one was close. Pitch is delivered. Ronning puts it in play. Hit to the right field. Right fielder. Oh, they did it again. That's the second time we've seen that today. One occurred in the earlier game where the ball was hit to the outfielder and the outfielder got the runner at first picked off. So Fargo Post 2 turns the double play there. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Nolan Miles. Schneider thought he had a lot of time to run back to first, but he didn't have enough. Stimson delivers the pitch for ball 1. Miles steps back into the batter's box. No doubt about that one. Stimson delivers to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. A little low. Gives Miles a 2-1 count. Miles fouls that one off into the cheap seats. The count is 2-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. And a strikeout by Stimson ends the inning. Brookings gets no runs on no hits with 1 Fargo Post 2 error. Nobody left on base. In the middle of the 6th inning, we are still tied at 1 run apiece. Due up for Post 2, the 7, 8, 9 hitters, Beiswinger, Sweet, and Oshak. As always, today's broadcast is brought to you by Walker Mower. We're glad you could join us, but it is still a beautiful day to come watch baseball at Jack Williams Stadium. Zach Struck for Brookings continues his outing here in the 6th inning. He's been the only pitcher Brookings has sent to the mound so far. Leading things off for Post 2 is the 3rd baseman, number 13, Jackson Beiswinger. Beiswinger takes that inside pitch and fouls it off for strike 1. Beiswinger hits that one deep, but the center fielder is going to make the easy out there. So after 2 pitches, Beiswinger goes back to the dugout, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 12, Levi Sweet. Sweet doesn't agree with that call, but it is strike 1. Sweet is 1 for 2 on the day so far. And from my vantage point, that was inside, and the catcher framed it, and the ump bought it. 0-2 is the count. Sweet puts that one back into play. It goes right to the pitcher, who underhands it to the first baseman, Ronning, for the 2nd out of the inning. Walking for his turn to at bat is number 6, the catcher, Sam Oshak.
Now hitting number 6, Sam Oshak.
Oshak shows bunt. Starts to take off towards first. Misses, and the ball crosses for strike 1. And that pitch goes for ball 1, evens the count at 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Oshak tries to sell that that was a ball on the inside, but the ump calls it strike 2. The count is 1-2 with 2 outs. Oshak hits that to the second baseman, who comes over, makes the throw, and that'll be 3 up and 3 down for Post 2. No runs on no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, due up for Brookings. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Brink, Merritt, and Clark. Wyatt Kasadowski on the mound for Post 2 as we go to the top of the 7th. Beckett Stimson ends with 1 inning pitched. No hits, no runs, no errors, no walks, 1 strikeout. So Kasadowski comes in from left field. Landon Meyer will replace him as he moves from second base to left. And playing second base is Caleb Brigham. Leading things off for Brookings in the top of the 7th is the third baseman, number 8, David Brink. Brink starts his at-bat with 2 balls and no strikes. Kasadowski delivers that one right down the middle for the first strike. Brink now at a 2-1 count. Nobody out in the top of the 7th. Tie game. And that pitch was high. Brink ducks out of the way. Makes the count 3-1. Swing and a miss. So Kasadowski works the count full. Kasadowski sped up the pace. Gets Brink to swing on that one for the first out of the inning. Walking up to the plate is the designated hitter, number 7, Jack Merritt. Sometimes coaches will do that, bring in a pitcher who has a little bit faster pace, throw the hitters off balance.
Oh,
and that curved in there nastily for the first strike. Outside, evens the count, 1-1. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Inside, ball 2. 2-1 now.
Wyatt's not wasting any time up there. He wants to get her done.
That one's inside as well for ball 3. The count is now 3-1 with 1 out in the top of the 7th. Merritt fouls that one back over the press box. The count is now full, 3-2. Merritt puts that one in play. Meyer comes forward, makes the easy out there for the second out of the inning. So Landon Meyer showing no problem switching positions from infield to outfield there.
Landon's one of those players you can put him pretty much anywhere and he will excel at it.
I'm sure. This will bring up the right fielder, Austin Clark, with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. He takes that strike, which evens the count at 1-1. Seems like both teams have had a lot of strikes looking today.
A lot.
See, just as I say that.
Well, that was a nasty curveball.
That one I can understand, because that was quite a bit of movement on that one. Count is now 1-2 with 2 outs. And that ends the inning for Brookings. Kosadowski comes in and does his job, gets 1 to fly out to left field, but strikes out 2 to end Brookings at bats. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. Fargo Post 2 will start things off in the bottom of the 7th. Returning to the top of their order, the 1-2-3 hitters, Holm, Meyer, and Leininger. Struck returns to the mound for Brookings in the bottom of the 7th inning. Through 6 innings, he's given up 6 hits, allowed 1 run earned, walked 4 batters, struck out 3. Even though he's up to 90 pitches, he still seems strong on the mound there. But unless he gets
to hit the bottom of the 7th and only have 90, that's doing pretty good.
So leading things off for Post 2 in the bottom of the 7th in this tie ball game is the shortstop, number 8, Connor Holm. Winner of this will advance to the championship game next. Holm swings on the first pitch, puts that in play. And that's going to be caught for the first out. So now batting for Fargo Post 2 is the second baseman, Landon Meyer. Meyer swings on the first pitch, puts that out there to the left field as well. And Hembolt brings that one in for the second out of the inning. So that's going to bring up the right fielder, number 7, Adam Leininger. First pitch crosses the plate for strike one looking. He got all of that one. That was hit a mile, but unfortunately it's foul. So Adam with an 0-2 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. That ball's high and inside for ball 1. 1-2. And he puts the wood on that one. That one's hit deep. Right fielder retreats almost to the fence, but then the ball falls down right into his glove for the 3rd and final out of the inning. No runs on no hits, no errors. So after 7, we have earned ourselves an extra frame here. This is the semifinal of the 2024 Jim Peterson FM Invitational. Winner will advance to the final championship game right after this. Not a lot of scoring in this one, but it's still been fun to watch. Score is 1-1. So leading off for Brookings is the catcher, number 10, Sam Johnson. Being that we are in extra innings, Brookings will start with a runner on second. That runner is Austin Clark, the right fielder. Kosadowski throws to that runner, but I'm not sure that Holm was quite ready for it. He catches it before it squirts into the outfield. So I'm going to call this modified California rules because I'm sure there's probably a name for it. Runner starts on second in the extra inning, but there are no outs. California rules, there would be 1 out on the board. So it seems like this inning has started a while ago, but we have yet to throw the first pitch of the inning. Johnson tries to lay down the bunt, but fouls it away. Strike 1. Kosadowski delivers the pitch. Oshak throws down to second. but Clark is safe. So Johnson has an 0-2 count with nobody out here in the top of the 8th. That pitch was just barely outside. I thought it grazed the plate on its way past that corner. But it is ball 1. The count is 1-2 for Johnson. I have no doubt about that one, though. Kosadowski throws Johnson a chair. So with 1 out, that's going to return Brookings to the top of the order. The left fielder, number 1, Tate Hembolt. Clark remains at second base. That pitch is low for ball 1. Kosadowski earns strike 1 there. Evens the count at 1-1. There's 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Runner on second base.
Scores 1-1. A lot of ones.
A lot of ones. Ones all around. Number 1 batting. Number 1 pitching. And that'll break the streak of ones because that becomes ball 2. Hembolt works the count in his favor. It's now 3-1. And Hembolt draws the walk. That's going to bring up the center fielder, number 12, Breck Hershoff. Hembolt at first and Clark at second. Hershoff steps up for his at-bat. Kosadowski gets the sign from Oshak. Pitch was delivered right down the middle, but all Hershoff could do was follow it out of play. That ball is hit to the second baseman, who scoops it up and throws Hershoff out at first base. But the 2 runners advance. So Clark moves to third and Hembolt moves to second. That is the second out here in the top of the 8th inning. And that'll bring up the shortstop, number 9, Owen Schneider. Timeout is called. Kosadowski delivers the first pitch right down the middle for strike 1, looking. And that pitch is fouled. The count is 0-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Tie ball game.
Now you can throw some junk at him. Let's see if you can get a strike on him. Let's keep it away from letting him hit it.
That pitch was high, and Schneider thought about it for a fraction of a second, but decided not to swing. Brings the count to 1-2. Low evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs in the top of the 8th of a tie ball game. Now the count is full after that ball. So now we get to see who's going to win this battle. Hit into play to the third baseman. Beiswinger bobbles it, but manages to throw it. Manages to throw it all the way to first base. Press box thinks that that's an out to end the inning. The 2 umps are going to chat about it. Clark did cross home plate. So on the little bit of controversial call there, Clark does score to give Brookings the lead. That'll bring up the first baseman, Addison Ronning. Schneider is safe at first. Hembolt at third. Kosadowski plunks him and sends him to first. That'll load the bases. And bring up the second baseman, number 2, Nolan Miles. Oshak wants to just sort things out a little bit with this pitcher. That visit went quick. That ball's hit to Landon Meyer in left field, who makes the easy out and ends the half inning, but not before Brookings scores a run. That run was scored on a error by the third baseman. So that gives 1 run on no hits, 1 error, 3 left on base. After 8.5, Brookings leads 2-1. So in the bottom of the 8th, Brookings sends the center fielder onto the mound. So pitching for Brookings is number 12, Breck Hershoff. Fargo Post 2 will start with Adam Leininger on second base. And leading things off will be the first baseman, number 15, Charlie Kalburner.
Nope.
Now batting. Post.
So Post 2 needs at least a run to tie it, if not walk off win it. Kalbrenner bunts to the pitcher. And Kalbrenner is out, trying to get to first. But he does his job and advances Leininger to third base. And that'll bring up the center fielder, number 14, Jordan Leininger. That one appears to have hit Leininger in the batter's box. But it probably hit the knob of his bat in one fall for strike one. But he still seems to be smarting a little bit on that left hand. And that ball's hit to the left fielder. Not deep enough to score the run. Leininger fakes going home, but there's no way he would have made it. So 2 outs now. Brings up the pitcher number 1, Wyatt Kosadowski. Adam Leininger at third wants to come home and tie this game up. First pitch to Kosadowski is called strike one. Second pitch is low and in the dirt. Catcher squeezes it. Ball one. So the count is 1-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Post 2 trailing by a run. And that pitch is popped up to the shortstop. He calls it, catches it, and ends the ball game. Final score, Brookings 2, Post 2 1 in 8 innings. And Brookings will advance to the championship game to be held here in probably about 30 minutes time here at Jack Williams Stadium. Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast, and we hope